everyone, my name is Ekta Khurana. I'm a second year MBA student at Weatherhead School of Management, Case Western Reserve University. I'm also serving as the president of Graduate Business Student Association. With me today is Professor Greg Jonas. Professor Jonas is the Senior Associate Dean for Academics and Graduate Programs. He's also the Associate Professor of Accountancy, and today it is our absolute pleasure to understand the changes in course curriculum and his vision for the students. So with this, I welcome Professor Jonas. Professor Jonas, we understand that rankings play a very important role when a student is deciding about the college and the courses. Where do you think Weatherhead and the Case Reserve University stands today?
Well, rankings are very important for all schools, primarily because it brings the schools to the attention of students, which is very important. The Weatherhead School of Management, we have many of our programs that are ranked. I would say that we're not ranked where we should be based on the quality of the curriculum and the faculty, but it's all about the metrics that go into the rankings, and those vary from ranking agency to agency. They also tend to vary over time, and sometimes certain inputs to those rankings can have a disproportionate effect. But we plan to improve, but I do think that we're not ranked where we should be.
How important it is to have a strategic course curriculum when a student is planning, and would you also like to share some of the changes that you've introduced very recently to the course curriculum at Weatherhead?
Yes, so in the MBA program, we've recently rolled into more updated curriculum, in particular including courses such as business analytics as part of the required core. We've also baked in more teamwork and managing teams content into the curriculum, as well as built up a wide number of curriculum concentrations. So students can have the MBA, which is the traditional management degree, but within there they can concentrate on finance, business analytics, marketing, any number of choices to help build specialization within their generalized degree.
Like you mentioned that there has been more focus on the course of business analytics. Why would you choose business analytics over other courses?
So business analytics is more of today's environment. More and more the world is data-driven, and analyzing data has become increasingly important. And so that's part of the reason why we're seeing business analytics come into play. We're also starting to roll in courses like artificial intelligence. And this is just a function of the world in which we live and the increased emphasis on analyzing data.
As the Senior Associate Dean, what is your vision for the students? What is that one takeaway that you think that students should have towards the wrap of their course?
So my vision for students is to have the careers that they want to have, whether that's in nonprofit or within finance organizations or as a leadership in any given organization. We want to help students land that career that they aspire to have, whatever that is. And the programs at Weatherhead, specifically the MBA program, is designed to help them achieve those goals. So the MBA core gives the general skill sets that you need to be a leader and a manager in organizations. And then the specializations that we referred to before help give that extra expertise within the targeted area that the student wants to launch their career.
One of the courses that you mentioned about increasing emphasis at Weatherhead right now is business analytics, and of course the increasing landscape of healthcare. But what are some of the skills or the special traits that you think students should definitely have as they groom themselves and towards the close of the MBA course curriculum?
So one of the key characteristics that I encourage students to develop and expand upon is curiosity. So many businesses and so many careers now increasingly depend on having this driving need to know and the desire to ask questions and understand problems better. So, try to grow that curiosity element. Another thing is to try to get more comfortable working with large groups. Communication skills are at the forefront, which might seem odd in a world full of data analytics, but having those communication and leadership skills, they sometimes call soft skills, is so very important.
I remember when I took the fall semester with you, even though back in India, it was the Zoom delivery, but we still remember you encouraging us, asking so many questions. And we did ask, so how do you see that as a student, participation, like you mentioned, is extremely important? That opens the door for communication. But do you also see that that's going to be sometimes like a tailor-made conversation because you have to understand the subject matter? And for the students who are just initially starting with accountancy, what is your advice to them?
Having some background knowledge helps you ask more precise questions. So you're absolutely correct in that regard. But, general questions, even before you have a base knowledge about how a certain course or a certain discipline fits into the business world at large, anyone can learn to ask those questions, and those help expand knowledge just as much as asking the specific questions that drive into details on analytics or accounting.
How do you think is the industry changing with respect to the course curriculum and the programs that we have?
Yeah, so one of the things that we've tried to do on a more macro level is to get more what we call market-based education. So rather than what universities used to do, which is design what they want to teach, and students will come and take it, now we try to better understand the business and the market for jobs and build our curriculum to match market needs.
I do remember that we have case studies in the class, and the idea is to relate what industry wants to everything that's been taught at the school. Can you list down some of the case studies that we have which are very relevant for the students and which will create a more intense level of curiosity being practiced at the school?
Each of the courses draws on different cases based on the course content for that particular class. And there's so many case studies that are available nowadays. Whether it comes from some of the places like Harvard Business Education, which has a wide variety of case studies that are often drawn upon, or sometimes faculty write their own case studies. So there's a wide array of places that we can get cases from, but the key is that they fit the course and they fit the learning objectives of that particular course. And that's what's really important. And across all courses, usually we're looking for critical thinking skills to be developed. That's so important.
As we're talking about case study, I would want to know that most of the students start reading the case with a story mind line, right? You just start reading it and understanding what are the essential points that need to be noticed. And then after those courses or after the classes, then we know essential elements which are to be looked at when we're perusing through a case. So would you like to share some of your thoughts on essential points which are to be noticed when a student is looking at a case?
Sure. So one of the things that's important within a case, as it is in the real world, is context. So understanding the context of the case. If the case is set during an economic recession, then you look for different attributes and different inputs to be the key elements of the case. If the context is in a growing market or maybe a boom economy, then you look for different things. So at the first read of the case study, it's important to try and grasp the context, the setting in which the case is based.
As we're coming towards the close of this discussion, Professor Jonas, what is this one piece of advice that you want all students to have, whether they're applying or they're already a part of, and always keep it close to the heart?
So I really think, looping back to the start of this conversation, it's develop and maintain a high sense of curiosity, whether it's about the world, the business that you're working in, or anything. Having that constant wanting to know more and understanding the world about us is so very important.
Thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate all the valuable insights. Thank you,
You're
Professor
very
Jonas.
welcome. Thank you.